you were also involved with Mysore's bicycle sharing train. Can you tell a little more about that engagement?
The Train program interestingly came about when we actually started Touch back in 2015, when we started working on electric bicycles. It was a time when we were trialing the electric bicycles across various places in Mysore, and then while we were working with the government organizations, and then obviously DULT, we were made aware of the program Train, India's first bicycle sharing program at that point, that was funded by World Bank, and were asked to sort of engage. And at that point, we felt it was a great opportunity to sort of showcase and bring the value of electric cycles, but it was a little too late in terms of how the program had already been planned. The program was more to do with regular bicycles, but it was very different to what we were out there, what we were aiming to do with Touch, which was to build electric bicycles and make them personal mobility vehicles. But we were very excited with that project. It was one of its kind, first of its kind, and it had the opportunity to make an impact, to the community, to the local Mysore community, and it did. If you look at how Train has evolved and what it has done to the Mysore public, you see the value of that system. The people who use it, how they use it, and how it's benefited the local population. I think it's sort of beyond commercial numbers.
So from Train and then now this whole journey of Touch, can you briefly tell us a little more about Touch? What is this all about?
Climate change is the bigger problem, but if you break that problem to what we see every day, it translates to traffic almost untenable in terms of just regular mobility for people. It talks about air quality, which again has reached untenable limits. And then you talk about the psychological impact it has on people, doing daily runs. Our purpose was to go back in time with Touch. The going back in time meant, how did we travel previously? How did we move around? Personal mobility was all about small vehicles, and it was more to do with economic and financial reasons. People couldn't afford to buy cars, but things worked well. Largely it was two-wheeler driven mobility as we planned land transport and urban transport. So we sort of set out to build a company that then produces smaller, smarter, non-polluting vehicles for people to travel conveniently and easily, and quite swiftly as well. Because we believe smaller, smarter, and non-polluting vehicles are going to be at the core of the future urban transport blueprint.
So right now, you're also aware, maybe much more than me, there's a big buzz around electric mobility, and people are looking at electric cars, two-wheelers, all kinds of form factors. So what made you choose electric bicycle as an entry point to address the whole issue of mobility?
Look, three key points. Electric bikes are going to be the key when we speak of building sustainable living spaces. Now, if you look at worldwide cities, urbanization at the pace of whatever it's right now progressing, you ought to plan and think of building sustainable living spaces. And there's a concept of hyper-local neighborhoods that quite a few of large cities are trialing at this point, which means everything around you that you need is about 15 to 20 minutes by foot or by bike. So when you say bike, electric bikes are becoming core of that. So sustainable living spaces requires bikes, and electric bikes are going to be key there. Number two, it's a fantastic product market fit in any geography, any market, across socio-economic classes. Okay, and the kind of impact it can have across these classes is phenomenal. You can talk of the elite, slightly more privileged class in a developed economy like UK, Europe, North America. It serves a different purpose. And you go to slightly underdeveloped, not so privileged classes, whether it's talking of parts of Asia or Africa, it serves a totally different purpose. It can actually provide access, productive mobility access to people and change their lives. And the last point is it's the only electric vehicle which has pedals. So it brings the natural dimension of active lifestyle into it.
One of the things that I have seen, especially in India, is a lot of these electric bicycles are actually the regular bicycles which have been retrofitted to make it electric. How is such different from the so-called Jugaad electric bicycle, if I can use that word, in India?
In India, I think right now, if you see the buzz and crowding around electric bikes is happening at the low price point where there usually is the volume. A low price point, Amit, means that you will compromise the quality of the product, and you have to, because the cost dynamics force you to. An electric vehicle's biggest cost component is the battery. So you will need to spend money to bring in those electric parts and make sure that the percentage of the component cost is still kept under control to deliver a full product at a good price, at a price point that the people will buy. So whilst there is a lot of action in that low price point, we believe that there is going to be a lot of demand and interest for a bike that is a good quality bicycle first. So when we refer to electric bicycle, we first stand for quality. So we want to build a better quality electric bicycle. So if it means that it will cost us more to build and it means higher price point, that's okay. Which means we'll play at a slightly lower volume. But it also should mean it's a good bicycle to start with. So the positioning that we are taking is not about just commuting. So we're not saying our bikes are meant for you to replace your two-wheeler and save money on petrol and then use this as a commuting vehicle. No, that's just one of the use case. For us, our positioning is all about making a change in your lifestyle. So Helio, which is our brand, we positioned as a lifestyle companion for you. And that means it's both a regular cycle and also an electric cycle when you want it to be, whatever you need it to be. So if you're out for your weekend rides, you should be able to choose any electric assist between 0 to 100% and use that to your benefit. And then use it for your commuting vehicle during weekdays with any level of assist. So it should be good enough at 0% and very good enough at 100% as well in terms of electric assist. So that's our sort of philosophy, and that's how we make our bikes.
How are you looking at this electric mobility in India, especially with the electric bicycle? Do you see them replacing two-wheeler? Do you see them replacing three-wheelers, the bicycles? Or do you think this will create its own niche category altogether?
Electric mobility in general as a market in India, look, it's if you look at worldwide what electric mobility is doing, it will, I think it's just gained that what you call as an adrenaline rush and you can almost see that hockey stick curve coming up across various markets in India including. So there is a big push, there's a big sort of booming interest from people as well, and COVID has sort of has hastened the process. Electric cycles are slightly different. And I think that's the important part. A lot of issues that sort of are relevant to a general EV is not relevant to an electric cycle. So people ask about, hey, he's touched setting up charging stations and charging network and investing in charging networks for its products. So I say, look, that's the beauty of electric cycles. You don't need a charging network. It's an electric cycle, so there's no range anxiety. So given that there's no range anxiety, you can actually buy the product. If you're out of charge, you can pedal back home, and it can be charged anywhere out of a regular power socket at home or office or wherever. I think that aspect will propel the market faster than other EVs. So if you look at two-wheelers, if you look at cars, all these need a certain type of infrastructure, especially around charging, to be in place for that wide adoption. Electric cycles are sort of almost unblocked from these restraints. So my personal view is that electric cycle market probably will grow faster initially than the rest of the EV market, purely because of the inherent advantages it has in terms of not needing any network, any sort of infrastructure to survive and succeed.